We'd like to invite you to watch English Chinese news on the Central Television Channel of Đồng Nai Province. Chaired by National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn on March the 11th, the National Assembly Standing Committee continued its 43rd session. The Standing Committee of the National Assembly commented that the 9th National Assembly session is expected to have a very large workload, lasting about 2 months. A few weeks will be spent collecting public opinions on amending the Constitution and related laws. Therefore, it is recommended that the Standing Committee of the government strongly direct relevant ministries and branches to carefully prepare the contents to be submitted to the National Assembly for consideration or approval. In the coming term, it is expected to continue merging about 60 to 70% of the total 10,000 wards and communes, with a spirit of burning and lining up at the same time, being extremely active and urgent to complete this important task. The State Bank leader said that immediately after the Prime Minister telegram to the banking industry to continue reducing interest rates, the State Bank directed commercial banks to immediately adjust interest rates. Nearly 20 banks have reduced interest rates and some banks have reduced them deeply, with the average deposit interest rate of some banks decreasing by 0.7% to 0.8% per year. The State Bank will continue to use management tools to ensure stable liquidity for the system, while closely monitoring interest rates to help commercial banks proactively source capital for lending and share with businesses by reducing costs and reducing lending interest rates for all terms. According to a latest report of the Customs Department, the total value of import and export of goods in the first 2 months of 2025 reached $127 billion, an increase of 12% over the same period last year. The total value of import and export of goods in February 2025 alone reached nearly $64 billion, up 0.8% over the previous month. State purchase revenue from import and export activities in February 2025 reached 33,403 billion Vietnam dong, up 12% over the previous month. Total state purchase revenue from import and export activities in the first 2 months of 2025 reached 61,303 billion Vietnam dong, equal to nearly 15% of the assigned estimate, up nearly 9% over the same period in 2024. Bustling import and export right from the first months of the year, continuing the growth momentum of last year, are positive and optimistic signals, creating growth momentum for the following months. In just the first 2 months of the year, export of wood and wood products earned more than $2.5 billion, up 12.4% over the same period last year. The U.S. is the largest market for Vietnam's wood and wood products, accounting for 55% of the market share, followed by Japan and China. Among the 15 largest export markets, the export value of wood and wood products increased the most in the Indian market, with an increase of over 81%. Last year, Vietnam continued to be one of the largest wood exporting countries in the world, estimated as $17.35 billion, an increase of nearly 20% over the previous year. It is forecasted that this year the wood industry will continue to face pressure from trade barriers and strict traceability requirements from the EU and the US. Construction units at Biên Hòa, Vũng Tàu Expressway site are working urgently. The work of clearing the land and speeding up construction is being carried out synchronously, accelerating the progress of the National Key project. Package number 18, Component Project 1, section through Tam Phu Ward to Binh Hoa City. The contractor has implemented the items of leveling the ground, drainage system, sewers, and underpass. With many sections having a clean surface, the construction is quite favorable. Company 68's own machinery and human resources are 4 excavators, 2 bulldozers, 1 grader, and 6 rollers plus 12 cars. We are also constructing culverts, underpasses, drainage systems, and roadbeds. After Binh Hoa City mobilized people to hand over the land, more than 80% of the total area of nearly 60 hectares of land to be recovered under Component Project 1 of the project has been handed over. Binh Hoa City's determination is that by all means, we will have the results of handing over the soil in March. In cases where people do not accept the state's decision to reclaim the site, we will resolutely enforce it according to regulations. Binh Hoa's goal will be to have a clean site to hand over to the construction unit in March. Long An Commune, Long Thành District of Nai Province has a natural area of over 2,800 hectares. After achieving the advanced new rural standards in 2020, the commune aims to become a model new rural area and has completed the model criteria according to regulations. Long An Commune People's Committee has mobilized resources of more than 11 billion Vietnam dong to upgrade concrete and asphalt all major traffic routes, with a total length of more than 47 kilometers, install lighting, security cameras, and plant nearly 1,000 trees. People actively contributed funds to upgrade roads, plant flowers, install lighting, raise awareness of environmental sanitation, helping the hamlet to be recognized as a model residential area in 2022. The commune is very excited when the rural roads are upgraded to be spacious, so that every day people can exercise, transport agricultural products, and children can go to school safely and conveniently. The Commune People's Committee also mobilized people to promote the application of science and technology and mechanization in agricultural production to help increase productivity and profits. The rate of the population in the entire commune participating in health insurance reached over 95%, and having electronic medical examination and treatment records reached nearly 100%. The commune has basically completed 6 general criteria, 4 health sector criteria, and has submitted the appraisal documents to the province. The commune continues to mobilize cadres and people to regularly clean up on Saturdays and Sundays every week. Long An has completed the Model New Rural Construction Program on schedule, which is the driving force for the locality to continue to unite.